Welcome to Game Fondue Reviews. In this video, we're going to take a look at High Society. High Society is a simple auction game designed by Reiner Knizia. Let's jump right in with the description of the rules, see a few example turns being played, then I'll be back for some closing remarks.
This is High Society, set up for a 3-player game. To set up, you just shuffle the deck of tiles to make a face-down draw stack, and you give each player a hand of 11 money cards. They're all the same, but they're just numerical values here, like so. The game is played over a series of bidding rounds in which the top tile of the stack is just flipped and then bid on, and the game ends when the 4th tile with a red border comes out. 4 of the tiles in the stack have red borders. When that 4th one comes out, you do not bid. The game is just over. So the game begins with a start player flipping over the top tile and deciding to bid on it or pass. To bid on it, you just lay down whatever numbers you want. So for instance, if he decides to lay down a 3 and a 4, he has bid 7. Once you pass, you're out of this round, but it proceeds clockwise until everybody has a chance to bid or pass. If it comes back to you, you can never pick up these numbers, even if you want to bid a higher number. If you want to increase the bid, you just have to add more numbers to it. So this is already 7, now it would be 13. I can't just play like a 12 from my hand and take the other cards back. And it continues like this, though there are some slight differences based on the type of tile it is. You can see this one here is a positive 3. Most of the tiles in the deck are positive things. When you're bidding on a positive, it's the last person that has not passed is going to win. Once everybody else has passed and not increased the bid to a higher number, the person who wins pays the full amount of money by discarding from the game, takes that tile, places it in front of him or herself, and then flips over the next tile to start the next round. All the other players who did not win the bid get to take their full bids back to their hand, and they can use them later in the game. However, 3 of the tiles in the game are misfortune tiles or negative tiles, and here's one right here. It happens to have a red border. The other ones don't. But this makes your score half at the end of the game. So the bidding on this works similarly, except the first person to pass is going to be the one that claims it. That person gets all their money back to their hand that they bid, and everybody else has to pay the full amount of their bid. So if this guy was up to 13, this guy was 15, this guy was 18, he decided he didn't want to go higher than that, he would take this, get his money back, and the others would pay. But it's a bad thing that he has taken. The other 2 bad things are a -5, which just takes 5 off your score at the end of the game, and the Thief. When you get the Thief, you have to immediately discard one of your other luxury cards. If you don't have any yet, the next one you buy, you have to discard, so that can hurt a little bit as well. There's also some tiles that are 2 times your score at the end of the game, which are very good, and they work the same as all the other positive things in terms of bidding. So play continues with the person acquiring the tile, flipping the next one, and then beginning the bid on that tile. Once the 4th red is flipped, you stop. You do not bid on the 4th red. The game is over immediately. At that point, players compare the amount of money they have left in their hand, and whoever has the least money remaining loses. That person is not eligible to win. If multiple players are tied for the least money, they all lose. The players that have not lost because of insufficient funds add up the value of all the yellow positives in front of them. So for instance, this would be 5, just the value of these tiles, but there's much more valuable ones in there, like so. And then after that, you would subtract any minuses you had. This is the only tile that has actually a minus. Then you would multiply the remainder by 2, and then finally you would divide by 2 if you have these other tiles, and whoever has the highest total wins. Let's get going with this example playthrough. Normally the player's cards would be for their eyes only, but we're going to have them face up here to make it easy to see. This guy's going to go first, so he's just going to flip this and start the bidding. It's a 1. He decides he'll bid a 1 on that. This guy passes, and this guy decides to bid a 2. Once you pass, you're totally out, so this guy can't come back in. Now in order to stay in, he has to go above that 2 or pass. He decides to pass, so this guy pays his 2 and takes this in front of him, and this 1 returns to this player's hand because he did not buy. Now because this guy purchased the last card or obtained the last card, he's going to flip this one. Now it's actually a negative thing, so they're bidding on it not to get it. So this guy doesn't want to half his score, so he leads off with an 8. And this guy says, oh, that's kind of high, but he goes to the 10. And this guy over here decides that he really doesn't want that, so he's going to do 12. Now, in order to go higher, this guy can only add to this number. He cannot take the 8 back in his hand and play a 15, for instance, but he decides he is going to play the 6. So he's up to 14, and that's too rich for this player here. So he is going to pass. And because he's the first to pass, he's going to take this half. Everybody else has to pay their bids. They totally lose them, but he gets his back because he took the negative. And because he obtained this, he's going to flip this and bid on it. Happens to be another negative, so that's bad news bears for him. Play's going to continue like this. We're going to jump ahead a little bit in the game so you can see some more interesting situations. Welcome back. This guy just bought the 2, so he's going to flip the next tile. It's the Thief. It's another bad one, so he's going to lead off the bid with the 4. And remember, when you get the Thief, you have to get rid of one of your other positive tiles. So this guy would have to get rid of either the 1 or the 8. Of course, he'd pick the 1, this guy the 2, and this guy the 9. He can't get rid of this one. So he bids a 4. This guy decides losing the 1 isn't too bad, so he's just going to pass. He gets the Thief because he's the first to pass, and this guy has to pay his bid. This guy kind of dodged a little bit of a bullet there because he'd have to pay a lot to hold on to that 9. But these two are out of the game, and then since this guy obtained that tile, he's going to flip the next one. We're going to come back closer to the end of the game when there's 3 reds out there. Right now, there's only 1. Welcome back. It's getting near the end of the game. We know that because there's 3 red already out. This guy happens to have bought them all. It's this guy's bid over here, and it's a 7 out on the board. He's going to bid a 1 on the 7. He wants to bid some other numbers, but he's kind of out of cards in the middle range at this point. So this guy's going to throw down a 4, and in order for this guy to buy it, he has to bid at least a 10. But he's getting kind of worried because if he has the least money, he's totally out. But he decides he is going to bid that 10, and both these other guys are going to pass. So they get their money back. He pays the 10, and he takes this 7 here. So the next one's going to flip. It's not that 4th red yet, so we're still going. It's a 4. He's willing to bid a 1 on that 4. This guy over here is actually going to pass. He's totally out of middle numbers, and 15 is a bit much for the 4, he's decided. But this guy over here would like to have the 4, and he's willing to bid a 3 on it. This guy decides to pass because he's really fearing that he's going to be out of money. So this guy gets it, and then we're going to flip the next one. And there it is, the 4th red. So the game is over. We do not bid on this, and at this point, we tally up the money. As we do that, it's very easy to see that this guy, unfortunately, has the least money. So even though he has all these multipliers and high cards, he is totally out of the game because all these other guys have a lot more money left over. Having the most or anything like that doesn't help you, but you cannot have the least, which is this guy here. So the competition is actually between these 2 players here. So he has 8 plus 4 is 12. Minus 5 is 7. This guy over here has 11 plus 2 is 13. So this player is going to be the winner.
High Society is very simple. It's almost too simple. I mean, it's just straight auctions, but there is a reasonable amount to consider because you have to decide if you really want to buy something or not because you don't want to be that person with the least money. That goes for the positive things as well as the misfortunes because generally speaking, unless you're the person who passes, you're going to have to pay for the misfortunes. So you have to kind of decide what you want to do there. Also, the variable endgame trigger, that being the 4th red to come, you don't always know when that's going to happen. That certainly ties in with the previous statement as well because you really want to make sure that at the end you have more money than at least one other person. So it's a fine game. It's a solid game. It definitely is easy to teach, and it plays in just about 10 to 15 minutes. It's super simple. So if that one looked neat to you, check it out. That's High Society.